All right, everybody, let's get started. Um, I think we've reached a point now, there's only a few rounds left, of course, where we don't need to go over all of the basic stuff. Congrats to the
The track
champion who
temperature's
was, I
rising.
believe,
It's now
crowned at the
33
end of the last
Celsius.
event. So that's the formal stuff out of the way. The main point for today was that we had some discussion with a couple of drivers. I think someone brought it up during the session as well on audio, so I think everyone will have heard that conversation about the safety car and the information given to the drivers. So what we're planning on doing is you'll still get all the information you did before, but there'll be a lot more direct input from me during the race to you guys, so you get a clearer view of what we're trying to put across. So there'll be we need everyone to catch up the pack and bunch up now, don't pass lapped cars, all of that sort of stuff that needs to go through. There'll also be more direct communication about when cars are let by, and there will be the best effort. Obviously, we don't want to extend the safety car period for multiple laps when we don't need to, but there will be as much effort as possible from myself and the other admins to get the lapped cars caught up to the back of the field, because I appreciate that wasn't ideal last time. It was just that we'd had the safety car out for a few more laps than we would have wanted to. So that was the other thing. And then there was the other thing. There was a second collision in last week's race that I think the guys who saw it and were around it will saw it. See, and it was quite big, but because of the criteria that we have been using to decide whether or not something deserves a safety car, was that it had to involve three cars, and that collision, in terms of people who are actually involved in contact, didn't involve three cars. Now, the kind of direction that we want to go in is making it much more of a judgment call as it would be realistically, and that is that would bring out a safety car now if we had a collision that big. So it is going to still take into account the number of cars involved. Obviously, if we think if one car spears off to the side of a circuit, we don't really want to interrupt everyone's races. But when it's something like what we saw last week, that would now bring out the safety car. So it can be a small collision involving, I guess, less cars now that will bring it out. But then obviously if you've still got something with, 4+ cars involved, even if it's small, we're probably going to bring out the safety car as you would expect to see. So that's the other point I wanted to make to you guys. And then well, that's basically it. I think if anyone has any questions that they want specifying about that, it'll be clear. But it's you can pop them in the chat and let me know. But it is going to be much more direct communication from me rather than having safety car out. And we're trying to get the stewarding team more laid out so that some guys are dealing with the incidents and I'm here just watching live and making sure everything's running smoothly. So you're going to see that coming into effect in this race, I think, quite a lot. So we should be able to get that running nice and smooth in this race. And then for qualifying, main point to make about the slow zones is I don't really expect it to be an issue around here, to be fair, compared to some tracks, because we're at a proper racetrack, so we got a lot of runoff. And sort of the main points is if you are going slow, because a lot of these corners are, I mean, they're not hairpins, but it's hairpin-like in the cornering advantage. So you want to take, if you're on slow lap, just stay off racing line, really, and avoid being on there. I mean, I'd say maybe the Schumacher S, so that's turn 9s and 10 after the hairpin at the far end of the circuit, which is the first major hairpin. No, well, not turn 1, but further down the hill. So the Schumacher S, which is 9 and 10 after that, and then 11 and 12 after that. Try and avoid going super slowly. Just pick up your speed and make sure there's no one around you if you are going slowly. And then the chicane at the end, we want to avoid. We don't really want you guys going down the second part of the chicane, or which way, I can't remember which way around it is on the layout, I'll have to check. But don't take the coned off bit of the chicane unless you have to, because it's confusing to drivers behind and it causes a lot of commotion. It's just unnecessary. Obviously in the race, if it's avoiding action or something, that's completely fine, but you just need to be careful coming back on if you are forced down there. But just really try and avoid it, because it just ends up causing unnecessary incidents. That's it from me, really. And in terms of just a communication from me to you guys, that also goes both ways. If you've got any questions in race or are unsure on anything, feel free to get on and ask. You're allowed to ask questions. That's completely fine. So yeah. What was that? I just heard someone say something in session. I will see. I'll clarify that. I think it was safety car driver. So, yeah, thanks everybody for hopping along. And I hope you have a good race out there. Keep it all nice and clean. Qualifying as well. We've got a nice wide track, so I don't think we'll really have any issues. And just try and stay out of each other's way and give each other plenty of room. I don't think we're going to see you guys fishing for a slipstream here. So, yeah. All right. Have a good one, everybody.
Hello everyone, my name is Edward and today I will be commentating the 11th round of the Anti-Star Racing W12 series here at Nürburgring. The Nürburgring is a motorsport complex located in the town of Nürburg, but we are racing at the Grand Prix track which have been built in 1984. We already have the world champion. Alex Eguia has won the championship in the last race, and today for the 11th round I will be joined as always by Biggles. Mate, how are you?
Yes, fantastic. Thank you very much. I was going to say something in German, but I didn't have anything prepared. I was too busy shoving down some sauerkraut, of course, and drinking some of the beautiful beverages from München, from Munich, which I've been a few times. Love it. Have I been here in Nuremberg at all? Would love to go see. Would love to go drive around the full Nuremberg track, of course. That I believe that our producer will be driving 24 hours of it coming up soon. But this is the short F1 version of it once they deemed the rest of it was just too unsafe. If you remember back to the unfortunate year that there was a fiery accident per se from Jesus, lost my who that was right now again.
Niki Lauda?
Niki Lauda, that's it. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm just not very sharp at the moment. But there, anyway, it is a good circuit. There used to be in the Formula 1 calendar, of course. A couple of times, I believe, for the European Grand Prix. I might be wrong on that. Or it used to be the German Grand Prix before they moved it to Hockenheim.
Yeah, we raced here in real life 2 years ago in 2020 because of the pandemic. But personally, I was always preferring the other German track in Hockenheim, I think it is called. Is it Hockenheim?
Yeah, Hockenheim.
Yeah, I absolutely love that track, and I think it always produced amazing racing. Here in 2020, the race was not that great. It wasn't amazing, but I'm sure that today the thing is going to be different. We're going to have an amazing race as always.
This is also, if you look at the track map of this board, it's a very Suzuka-esque track. Lots and lots of turns. Just really no massively long straights. Just one little one straight on the main straight per se, and a lot of little shorter straights. So I'm not sure about DRS activation points and stuff like that, or even if it is in this version of the game, because I don't remember they had DRS back when they did the race. If you might remember if you were there. But I'm not sure whether your massive overtaking zones are going to be because without that DRS. That'd be interesting. Also, we have a big shout out to Brody, whose win in the Daytona 500 just recently on the weekend. So congratulations to him. That's a big one. The Daytona 500 in your back pocket. That's definitely a trophy you want to have in the show.
Yeah, I was just reading today some esports drivers chatting, and I was always wondering how they perceive these things in their actual life. Like, wondering when you win such a big event, like, I don't know, the virtual 24 hours, like, are you going into the world and you are saying, mate, I won this thing? Because, like, for me personally, this is an incredible win. It's a huge achievement. But I wonder how the other people perceive it. The ones that are not watching and are not into gaming.
Good question. I mean, generally, you're winning for yourself, for your own accomplishment. So therefore, obviously it's good if people understand what you've actually accomplished, so that you can even they can actually really congratulate you, say, wow, that's a big accomplishment. If they're not aware of it, then that's just something else. You still got that one,
yeah,
that moment that continue to take away. But as more and more people get into esports and stuff like that, then the more and more of them start to realize that is a massive accomplishment, of course. Because times are very, very close now these days with motorsports and what they used to be. I remember watching something before about Ayrton Senna setting a pole time in Monaco of a 1 minute 21 seconds quicker than everybody else in the qualifying time in Monaco. I mean, those days are over, aren't they? Like those massive differences, they're down to like 1/10 and 2/10 and stuff like that. And that's the level of competition. And in esports, it's the same. It's even closer sometimes. So you've got to be very, very sharp. And beat people like that on that caliber is just something else.
Yeah, you were talking about how close racing is in esports, and we've seen that last week when the first 3 drivers were in 8/10, I think.
That's right. We had a couple of qualifiers. Remember, we had the same
actually in 8,000s.
Yeah, we were almost identical. I think we almost had 3 or something like that. Remember, because we were talking about Formula One that did have that at one period. I had the 3 drivers. But anyway, I'm just trying to see all the drivers that are here. Of course, some drivers apparently don't have this track, so it's unavailable. As we do know, our racing is fantastic. It's a real sim, but it's also got to buy stuff. It's the only downside. You have to make purchases. So hopefully, at some point in the future, we do hope that this simulation does at some once it moves into various sports, maybe even continues with the F1 here with the W12s. Make some sort of package together where, you buy the cars and you get all the tracks for like one price that's cheaper than buying the F1 game. I think that would make everybody make a decision there as to next time if they want to buy spend £60 or £50 or whatever it costs you to get the F1 game, or spend a similar thing here and get the new W12s or maybe an F1 version they do.
Yeah, personally, I would still buy the Formula 1 game because it's very hard to get good at racing, and to be fast, you need hours and hours and hours of practice. Like we don't realize how much time these drivers put in order to be this fast. And probably if I would have iRacing, I would crash 10 times per lap. So yeah, again, there's a reason why I'm commentating here. Anyways, we're now watching Alex Eguia. We're in practice, 23 minutes in, 6.5 minutes to go. Alex Eguia, world champion already, and I'm wondering, because if you would be in his place, how would you approach it? Because personally, if I would be world champion, my motivation, I don't know if it would be the same, if it would be as big as at the start of the season.
I think you're still out to beat yourself. You're still out to beat your times. You're still out to beat people and get better and better. Because you're a race driver, if he wasn't even remotely like Sarah wrapped it up, I'm not interested, he wouldn't even be here today. He'd probably skip it because there's no point. But no, he's here because he wants to dominate again, even get another victory, and get practice as well too. Because practicing by yourself is one thing, but practicing with 9 other gladiators on the track, that's learning race conditions. So it all helps because new seasons come up, and next time around he might have will probably most likely have some serious drivers that compete against him. So get this experience under your belt. Just wondering where the standings are so I can get it myself. But you mentioned Alex. Now are we missing our driver that finished second in the championship again?
Mark Stevens.
Mark Stevens, yes. Unfortunately, he's not here again because of work.
Yeah, it's a shame because the championship battle was looking so good between Alex and Mark. We've had good battles on track. We've had interviews between them. They were talking, and it was just that bit of realism that every game needs. We've also had controversy with those two colliding in Hungary. And it was a beautiful championship battle, but sadly Mark Stevens couldn't compete anymore because of his work, and Alex Eguia is just running the championship. And I was just looking back at the races of the season, and we've started with Luka Wunsch domination. He won the first 3 races, and he led most of the 4th race before crashing with a backmarker, which made him lose his race. Then Mark Stevens won in Catalonia after starting 14th, and then he won again in Imola. And at that moment, I remember that I was talking with you Beagles, and we thought that he is going to be the champion because he was so fast and he was winning from everywhere on the grid. He was absolutely dominating every race. And then something happened. Alex Eguia started winning races, and then Mark Stevens obviously couldn't compete anymore, and so Alex Eguia ran with the championship. And in the last 2 races, Radecki Gregors has been on top. He won 2 races ago, and in the last race, he won on track, but he lost it because of a 5 seconds time penalty.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if he can continue on that recent run that he's been doing lately, which is going to be fantastic to bring it to the likes of Alex and stuff like that. Because you want to go out with a bang, don't you? This is race 11. So I'm not quite. Is this the last race? Or we got another one? Just to one more. Yeah. So the penultimate race. So you want to start, beating now because Alex is beatable. We know that for a fact. But even when Alex puts a charge in, he can climb his way back. Penalties are penalties. We said it a lot in the other Formula One game. But I'm seeing perhaps some of these new drivers bring it here. Well, new, obviously, but new to the top positions is going to be very, very interesting. This is why Alex and stuff like that are still here competing, because they don't want to be eventually losing out to some of the new top guns, some of the new pacey drivers that are actually getting better with the game, developing, say, quicker than other people are. Because that's the thing, isn't it? Some people adjust very, very quickly to certain things, and once they do, they're blisteringly quick.
Yeah, and that's an important side of iRacing, because obviously in real life, when you are racing in the championship, you are racing all season with pretty much the same cars. If you are a GT3 driver, you are racing the entire season with the GT3 cars. If you are a Formula 1 driver, obviously you are racing the entire season with these Formula 1 cars. But in iRacing, this thing is completely different, because today you are driving a W12, a Formula 1 car. Tomorrow you're driving an LMP1. The next day you're driving a GT3, and then a Mazda or a Formula V. So, you just have to adjust so quickly. And this is why these drivers are amazing.
That's why some of the best in the world, for sure. I mean, geez, we got Brody in here, a Daytona 500 winner, and he's slept himself in one of these Formula 1 cars you'd mentioned, and currently doing, his best lap of 125.6 around here, the Nürburgring. So, I mean, get a 124.7 is the quickest. This is practice, of course, from Jonto.
We only have 1 minute of practice left to go. The fastest lap overall, 124.6 by Junso Vale. A new name at the top of the sheets. Junso Vale haven't been up there in the past races. Eloy Caballero, another Spaniard, in 2nd place. Hannes Schlöger 3rd. Brody Maynard in 4th place. And Alex Eguia in 5th. Now I really want to keep an eye on Brody Maynard and see what result he can get with these W12 cars, because we talked before about these drivers, today driving a NASCAR and then a Formula 1 car. It's incredible to see how are they adjusting, and I'm curious what result will Brody get today.
It's probably weird going, I have to turn left? I mean right? That's the thing, is like, I'm not used to it. I have never turned the steering wheel right before in my life. It's always just left. Now, of course, it's different. But so some people who aren't familiar, obviously, with oval tracks, and I've started commentating a lot of them recently with iRacing, it's a different kettle of fish. It's a different ball game. There's a lot of bump drifting and all that sort of stuff, and it's very, very hard to overtake when you've got cars are very bunched up together. There's little gaps and things like that. You have to get it in there. It's in itself a very difficult skill. Just I think some people from the European side look at it and go, well, we're just driving around in circles is pretty easy, but it's not. Once again, it's just a different ball game. Practice is over. So
we jump straight from practice to qualifying. Already 10 seconds in qualifying, and the first car to go out on track is our champion, Alex Eguia. And talking about champions, I am actually looking at the standings and wondering why is Radecki not setting a lap, because Radecki still has something to prove, because the gap between him and Mark Stevens is 31 points. if he will win today, he will close the gap to only 10 points to Mark.
You're right.
Even less. He can go to only 5 points to Mark if he wins.
He could still steal one away from Mark. I mean, hopefully, we don't know. Fingers crossed Mark can come back for that final race. And I'm sure that would be spicy to see those three all bringing it. Anyway, today he's got to do... Well, Alex is going to be continuing on his rampage. 180 points so far in this championship. Unstoppable, wrapped it up already. And now flying his way around Nürburgring. That looks pretty quick. We'll see. Yeah, Radisky, I guess he's just like probably stuffing down some food or something like that at the moment, going, yeah, well, wait, I'm trying, guys, I'm trying, but I got to eat, you know. Once again, some people are returning from school and work and all that sort of stuff. We heard before of Mark Stevens that he didn't even get practice in the tracks very often. He just comes straight home from work and jumps straight into the simulator.
Yeah, same thing happened to me today. 10 minutes before the stream, I was asking Charles, like, mate, do I have time to eat? Like, but yeah, all fine.
So we got to take that into consideration for these drivers as well, too, how rushed that they are. Of course, there's no time that's perfect for everybody. That's the problem, of course, because we all have different lives. We're not like dedicated, Formula One drivers. That's your job. So, of course, you're going to be turning up. You're going to be putting the practice in and all that. No, we're all just everyday normal people that like to throw the cars around a track as quickly as possible in the virtual world.
Yeah, but a passion that these guys have for the game and for racing, it's amazing. It always surprises me, The time that he put in these races, it's amazing, Personally, well, obviously, not only that I would not be able to put all this time, I wouldn't be as fast as these guys, especially that I'm driving with a keyboard.
Yeah, me too, mate. But I have fun when it can. And well, the thing is, too, I do put the hours practically as a full-time job. I mean, I'm lucky. I am self-employed, so I don't have to go to an office or to class and stuff like that. However, but I still pretty much put this as a full-time casting, commentating gig in for sure. But that's because it's a passion. It's a hobby for me, so it is what it is. But I can understand that drivers putting the same amount of time in their free time to get quick, and hey, driving's a lot harder than casting, so yeah. Hats off to them.
Alex Eguia will now complete his lap, and let's see what is his time. 1:23.6. So this is already the fastest lap of weekend. Alex Eguia putting up the laps that won him the championship. Alaric van den Bos will also finish his lap. Let's see what is his time going to be. So his second place, 1.8 seconds down on Alex. That's a huge gap, considering that in the last race the drivers were in less than a tenth.
Yeah, but time's coming now. Go ahead.
Joan Solvale, 7 tenths. So still a big gap considering how close this season has been.
I'm interested to see Brody's gone a little bit off track at the moment. As you can see on the track map there at the top there, it's the 83. He's come back on. So maybe just a little eager there. Just have to ban that lap and get another one in. Still plenty of time, of course, for the qualifying. I'm interested to see, obviously, Radisky, what sort of time he'll be able to set, because we haven't seen the time from the man that's third in the championship. That's been blisteringly quick recently.
Yeah, winning the last 2 races, well, technically, because in the last race he got a penalty and he lost the first place. And I'm really curious how is he approaching this race, because obviously after you win the race on track but lose it because of a penalty, you are angry. And I'm sure that he's hungry to get his revenge, come back and win the race.
I think, Ed, he's hungry to come into the interview room and chat to us so that he can actually answer the question finally of how to pronounce his name correctly.
I'm still waiting.
Yeah, even if he does win, wins on track and loses just some penalties, he still hasn't come and chat to us yet. But that doesn't matter. Some people are obviously. I'm just under the assumption that some people are. Sometimes they don't want to chat because they're embarrassed about their English or something like that as well too. But don't, guys, because my English is horrible. I can't even pronounce your names correctly. Ed doesn't even speak English and can do it 10 times better than me. Well, you not speak English as your first language. That's what I mean.
Yeah. It would be interesting to commentate if I would not speak English. But anyways, I'm looking at a live timing and I'm seeing everywhere yellow, so no one is improving right now. As far as watching Mark Johnston. on his lap, but he's not on a great one. I'm wondering why he's staying out.
Well, they could do a few laps, of course, of the qualifying. They just get a feel, probably burn off a little bit of fuel, whatever is set for their qualifying time. Some drivers might have actually just gassed it up there for 5 laps. So, of course, you're going to get a little bit quicker as you burn it off. Tires aren't as important. Like, as we mentioned this before in the game, you can easily do a few laps under your belt there and don't have to worry about the tire wear because it's a realistic simulator. So, interesting. They're not going to go slapping the inters on or the wets to ripping the track up like they do in the Formula 1 game. Just to do that some often. We haven't had any wet weather racing, have we, so far this season, as far as I'm aware?
Nope.
Oh, it does not have. We just heard from our producer that it does not have wet weather racing yet. That's the reason why we haven't seen any. Makes sense. And it will next season. All right. So just when it's not already difficult enough to simulate driving these cars around the track, they're gonna get some fire hoses out and spray the track down.
Because we've seen now all the cars being unveiled, and I'm not asking only you this, but I'm also asking the people that are watching our race, and they can type in the chat. What is your favorite Formula 1 car? Because we've seen 9 out of 10 cars. I think only the Alfa Romeo haven't been unveiled. What is your favorite?
It's 9? I had to go there, of course. Oh, wow. That's interesting because they just did the Alpine launch today. And that's still got that nice little blue. Oh, I'm answering for myself, but you guys definitely post in the chat, of course, the YouTube chat, and welcome along. The Alpine livery which just came out today. That was quite interesting. It got massive the sponsorship, of course, with the used to be the pink car, of course. The Alpine team. That was the Racing Point. That's right. And they have that massive sponsor. So they got the pink back in there, which it might be interesting because you remember last season how difficult it was to kind of see between the Alpine and the Mercedes when they're down the straight. Very, very hard. It's very hard to determine. And they were going to change up that color. Well, that's the green, sorry, my mistake, because I'm thinking of Alpine. We had the green of the Aston Martin. That was the one that was difficult to see. AlphaTauri looks sick. Does anybody actually like the pink and blue? I don't know. It kind of reminds you of like, you know, the boy pink, boy blue and girl pink kind of colors that you have in toys and things like that. Actually, it used to be the other way around, by the way. Boys used to wear pink and girls used to wear blue back in the Victorian period. But anyway, that's some other history lesson. I don't know. That's interesting about that. Mercedes, to me, nah, it was boring.
And I don't know. Yeah, and it reminds me of 2010, I think it was, when Mercedes just joined the competition and they were the first liveries. I don't know. I feel like Mercedes just missed something, and also the sponsorship placement, especially Team Viewer, there you can't really see it, and it just looks bad. I don't know if it's just me. Also, the green on the rear wing, it's not great. Yeah.
There's a guy on YouTube, I said this the other day during a Formula 1 cast. There's a guy on YouTube, I can't remember his name, he's a popular YouTuber. He redesigns the cars and liveries just for fun. The stuff he does is amazing. It's like, you look at those liveries and 9 times out of 10, everybody will be like, your livery looks better. Still has all the sponsors and all that sort of jazz on the cars. I don't know why they wouldn't hire someone like him just to do it. If everybody's agreeing with it. At the end of the day, I mean, I remember last time Petronas on the rear wing of the car, white riding on a blue wing. I mean, if anybody's ever done design before, that's a no-no. You would not pass an exam if you use those colors together because it's very hard visually to see. You combine different elements of it, and anyway, but I have no idea why that's all that. Of course, corporate sponsorships, there are things that they set, but Mercedes does not look good. With really anything, I don't think anybody would agree. Ferrari, I think, did a pretty good job. I wasn't impressed with Ferraris. Sorry?
Livery-wise?
Yes, this one, livery. It's hard, of course, having a full, essentially red car, and then having your sponsorship also kind of look good on it and things as well, too, because, you know, if you're sponsored by some company that has, you know, some kind of ugly-ish looking, let's say, logo, you have to slap it on your car somehow and make it look good.
Yeah, but, you know, talking about the Ferrari, every time in my mind, it pops out the 2017 car. That car was an absolute beauty. For me, that's one of the best looking cars in the history. talking about the 2022 car, I feel like the design of it looks good, but the livery, I just feel like it misses something. I don't know what, but it misses something.
Yeah, and as Kevin's saying, AT does look good. AlphaTauri does look pretty good. I have to say, you're right. Alfa Romeo, that's right. They did good. And you're saying, yeah, the McLaren, I think I agree. The orange-white versus the orange-blue, that's something on there as well. McLaren is, man, I don't know how many times McLaren have gone through liveries over these years. It's crazy. It's just difficult when you go back and look at McLaren in the 80s and 90s and all that sort of stuff. And you're like, just the liveries that they've changed over the years. They've been silver. They've been, black. They've been like cigarette colored packets and all sorts of stuff, you know. And now they're into that thing of the orange and blues and the orange, of course. I like the orange, and I think it's important too for Formula One to have cars that are definitely different in colors and not too similar, because you got a lot of new fans that are joining F1, obviously thanks to Drive to Survive, which is starting next month on my birthday. So that's my birthday present.
The safety car just started driving in the pit lane, so the safety car will go out. Or no, I don't.
The car is coming out to get some laps under the belt there.
Yeah, that's really safe. I remember that in the World Endurance Championship, well, the safety car is actually coming out.
Yeah, it's gonna get some practice in. There he is.
Almost
betting. Oh, we're gonna need a safety car for the safety car. There it is. So imagine that. Do you have a safety car for the safety car? What a Formula One. They do it. They do have two safety cars. It is true. They do. That's right. They always have two because one breaks down. They need another one. They do have two.
What happens if what's his name? Bernd Mailander. What if?
Yeah.
What if Mailander just crashes out? What happens?
They bring the other safety car out. They have a second one.
And
if you watch, I found that because if you watched one of those logistic videos, and I do suggest it on YouTube, like Formula One logistics, they show you how they pack all that stuff up and send it around the world. It's awesome. There's two or three really good YouTube documentaries about that. You see one of the containers that they light up because they put the cars in those containers and they put them in the back of the in the either the ships or the planes, and then they have two medical cars and two safety cars. They put them in one container. So they'll have one, and they'll be able to pull that thing out the back. It's probably parked at the back somewhere, or in one of the FIA garages that they have. Monaco would be a pain if it happened in Monaco, because they have no space.
Yeah. Anyways, while we were talking about other things, Alex Iguia has improved. He has gone for a 123.3. Oh, he's all second ahead of Junso Vale. Yeah. And also Radecki Gregor. Radecki Gregor is in our server, has set a time. He's 9th place right now.
He's running out of time to set times that he'd been doing, but perhaps he's like, because he's late or something like that, or been eating or whatever, and welcome. Who knows? Could be having technical issues. Yeah, people forget it's a virtual game, but virtually people have a lot of errors. I've seen people's like their pedals have stopped working, their steering wheels come loose, or disconnections and all sorts of things like that. So even though it's a virtual world, you still have plagued by technical issues sometimes. So, we're just speculating, or maybe just does not like the track, hasn't practiced on enough. There's something else I was going to say there quick as well too, but I can't quite remember now about Formula One. Slipped through my head. But anyway, if the safety car crashed out during the safety car period, they would just red flag the race.
Yeah, surely. But would you give the other safety car again to Bernd Mailander if he crashes?
Yeah, of course. He's been doing it for so long. I mean, he's not like a Formula One like Mikey.
No, Mikey.
No, who's been recently and he's been his contractors. No, sorry. So it's unfortunate for him.
Yeah, what do you think?
It's not like that.
Like, do you agree with Michael being dropped?
I don't, because there's probably a lot to it. But we'll find out at some point in the future. I'm sure he might have a book and all that sort of stuff when he's released from some sort of, maybe even allowed to. No, he should be allowed to say something about it, because most ex-Formula One drivers do release books and things like that later on. They can talk about a lot of stuff. They can't talk under the non-disclosure agreement that does run out of time eventually, of course. So he's probably going to say a lot about stuff. I know that he didn't have the support that Charlie Whiting had. Charlie Whiting apparently had this really good posse of support around him, and that wasn't available to Mikey. And on top of it, I'm not sure. Is it the FIA that decided to do all these radio messages and stuff? Because that's kind of screwed him too. I doubt that's his decision to do that. I think the F1 Media Liberty Group tried it and it backfired, and he's the one that's going to take the fall for it.
Well, personally, I always enjoyed the chats because he was so calm. Like I don't know what other approach you can take in these situations whether I'm being.
Well, he did it right, yeah, but he's getting thrown under the bus with that. I mean, can you imagine in a World Cup football match if you had the team bosses on the site that the coaches were actually radioing to the main referee and debating about that call? You would never see it, would you? In World Cup, you would never see it.
You can see the players and also the what are they called? The managers talking to the referee in the middle of the match. You can hear from the TV the manager shouting. So obviously, also the referee will hear.
They're not shouting. Yeah, they might be shouting, but the referee's not shouting back at them.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
No, I think the thing that screwed him up was lap 58 of the last race, obviously in Abu Dhabi. But yeah, I don't know. Personally, I think that he has searched for that TV money, and obviously when you have this kind of season, you need this kind of fan. Like it's like having an amazing movie with a bad end, and he wanted to make a show.
The winner is Formula One Media Liberty Group.
They won a lot of money because obviously controversy brings money.
Yeah, I didn't like. I've lost a lot of respect for Toto now after that one as well too, because I thought he carried on like a baby. He's supposed to be a professional. He's an absolute brilliant chief engineer, been with the teams in Formula One for quite some time. A lot of experience on his belt. Really cool, calm, and has a lot of respect from teams and stuff like that. And he carried on like a big baby, especially even after saying Lewis isn't going to drive if Michael's still in the head. I mean, that's just babyish to me for professionals, but that's my opinion. I didn't like it. I listened to his interview his interview that he posted later on when he was talking about all that sort of stuff, and so it was coming from his mouth, and I thought, yeah, mate, you got to grow up a little bit. You won the championship, you hadn't lost anything at all, and just because your driver didn't win it, it's just that goes that way. I mean, you can't win every single season, can you? I mean, they did. They've won the constructors, but the drivers can't always win.
Yeah, but on the other hand, Lewis Hamilton has completely won my respect because the way he approached the loss, the interview, and the fact that he has gone to Max and he has
his dad, man, Anthony. I said that before. Anthony Hamilton was the one that pulled him aside, stuck his head down there, and said, "Come on, son, you've been through this before. You fought your way through here. You get upset, you get angry. This is the way you approach." I think Max would not approach it the same way if Max was to lose it, because Max is still a little bit younger probably. And not as cool. And I don't think Max has been thrown under the bus a lot over the years too, because obviously Hamilton, with the whole racism thing, copped a lot of hard work that they had to do to get him into Formula One eventually. And there was many articles about a lot of racism that occurred in Formula One early when he started to. So he's been through all that, be able to deal with that kind of stress.
Yeah, and Max is obviously another type of character. Like we're seeing Max Verstappen. He is fast, but he's very impulsive. Is that a word?
He is for sure. Yeah. I mean, he's pushed drivers and stuff like that you see before. We got only a little bit of qualifying left. Don't see anybody on a flyer. There's Radicki right now. Will he improve? He's up to P5 currently at the moment. We'll see what he can commit to at the end of this one. Yeah, Max has pushed people around and all that sort of stuff. That's still, young and not, hot-headed and things like that. So, but he's maturing, of course, as he's getting, and as you see, he's maturing. He's also driving a lot quicker.
Yeah, but when you said he pushed drivers around, obviously that's not acceptable. But in those heat moments, like obviously in my mind, and I think also in yours, it popped out the Brazilian Grand Prix in 2018. Was that when he crashed with Ocon?
Yeah, that's right. That was the one. Yeah, Ocon was like, "What, man? What?" He's like. And that's. I mean, have you ever seen Lewis Hamilton do that?
No, but obviously when you're in that moment and when you lead for the entirety of the race and then a lap car crashes you out, obviously you will be angry.
Mark
And-
Hammer got smashed under a safety car by Sebastian Vettel. That was in the AlphaTauri, and Mark Webber didn't go down there and push. Even the multi 21 thing with Seb, he got upset, of course, and maybe slammed water on the desk or whatever, but didn't start pushing.
But it's not the same thing personally. But I think because there's one thing your teammate not letting you buy, and there's a completely other thing.
No, but the crash when then under the safety car.
Yeah, I wasn't watching.
When he crashed the back of Mark Webber leading the race. I mean,
I wasn't watching Formula One back then. Mate.
That's that was not. And you're the junior team as well too, and you just slammed up the back.
I'm too young, Eagles.
Mate, I was never around when who was it? James Hunt and all that were racing. I still have watched the races. You can watch them; they're available online.
Anyways, the qualifying is done, and only Troy Banks is now out on track. And I think this has been it. A pretty calm session of qualifying.
Yeah, but look at that. Raditsky got himself up into the P3 position, so he eventually got it done.
That's important. Because he puts himself in a good position. First corner here at Nürburgring is a very easy one for crashes. It's very easy to do a mistake, go a little bit wide, especially if you are second or fourth or on the even side of numbers, and you lock up a little bit and you just go straight into your opponent, because this is how close racing is here.
Yeah, first turn is a. That's what everybody would really have to say at the end of the day on that one. But that's the thing. Surviving it is going to be the key. And we did see, didn't we, before in the past? So just even in the recent races and some of the drivers, if we know that Alex gets away, he gets away. It's
I think
matter. But if Alex makes an error here, other drivers can really take a pounce on that situation. But I tell you what, I would love to be in pole on that one, and I think that's crucial there for Alex to get that, so he can kind of clear the corner. It's kind of not like the F1 game. If you want to read through those qualifying results for us.
Yeah, that's what I was just wanting to say. Alex Eguia, pole position in our 11th race. Junxo Vale, the other Spaniard, will start his second place. So we have a full Spanish first row. Radeczki Gregors in third place with Mark Johnston fourth. Eloy Caballero, another Spaniard, in fifth place with Paulo Lopez in sixth place. Fourth row with Hannes Rogel and Alaric van den Bos. Brody Maynard, our new superstar, will start in 9th place with Troy Banks in 10th. Lee Balmer 11th, and Steve Grabowski will start in last place, I think. No, we also have Victor Bolea in 13th place.
Yeah, and the safety car driver, I think, is Elias Stromer.
Elias Stromer. Well, hopefully he will not start the race, because he has gone out in qualifying, so you never know.
He has the double tiltes over the name too, just as like Bert Milo, isn't it? He has that too. So,
anyways, because we only have 4 seconds to go until the start of the race. Alex Eguia on the right, Junxo Vale on the left. The lights are out. We're waiting for lights. So we have 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights ahead of the drivers, and away we go here in Nürburgring. There are some problems at the back with someone going straight into the pit lane. Good start for Alex Eguia. Junxo Vale, not a great start. He's on his side, very close to contact. And I think there has been contact between Radeczki and Junxo Vale. The two teammates now are going side by side with Caballero and Junxo Vale. Caballero is ahead.
Yeah, Eloy as well too. Caballero got 3 positions gained there. So what a start, as well as Victor getting 7 up into P6. So all importantly, they have gone through that first corner without. Well, we're not quite sure about damage, but at least somebody's not spinning around facing the wrong direction. Alex has covered it off. That what a launch he did, absolutely brilliant. But yeah, look at that man in P2. Well, Eloy does a brilliant job. That was a launch of all launches, and to survive that carnage is brilliant.
Radeczki is now in 4th place, and he's lower than Mark Johnson, so he's going down right now in the standings.
Early days, absolutely early days. Lap 1 of 24, 50% race. here in Nürburgring that a lot of people aren't familiar with, of course, because this is not a track in Formula 1 that's been around here for some time. And practice makes perfect, obviously, if you get the time. There it is. So there's, how do you pronounce his name again? I always call him Juan, but that's the very Spanish version of it.
Mark Johnson overtook Radecki. Radecki is losing place after place. He's now in 6th place. Something happened to him. And he's down inside. He's only inside now of Victor Bollet. They're going side by side. I think that Victor Bollet has gone around the outside in turn 15, which is a very hard place to overtake. Now, Bollet, the switchback of dreams, which doesn't work. Radecki Gregor keeps the 5th place.
And what if he got damage?
He's gone wide as well.
He has. So Victor's up 8 places right now. He must have damage. He's about to lose another place. Let's see if he has to box.
I think
the pit though. Yeah, go ahead.
He maybe lost concentration because I was just saying at the start. Remember, he was going down. He was losing place after place, and maybe he just lost concentration. Look, he's wide again.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. There has to be some sort of slight damage or something. I mean, we're doing lots of practice. 20 minutes. We didn't do a lot of practice. Remember, 20 pretty much came out in qualifying. That could be showing at the moment. Victor's ahead up the road there. Paul is up the road. Hans is only be on. He's right behind him right now, so he can't afford to make any mistakes.
Paulo Lopez very close there to Victor Bolea, trying to overtake to turn 11, I think it was. Yeah, it was in turn 10 actually. Maybe Radecki got damage in lap 1, turn 1, when he got very close to one of the 2 blue cars, either Junso or Eloy Caballero. I'm not really sure, but I think they touched there in lap 1.
I wonder if we maybe get a replay of that a little bit later, if once they're quieted down a little bit and we get some time. It's going to come back on this main straight. Right here, last and late breakers. Oh, that's risky for the biscuit, but he can get it. He keeps a little bit of space on the outside there, but that's going to allow that to come back there. So, yep, he tried for the overtake, sending a dummy down there, and Paulio's got that one covered off for now, but he's trying to charge back. So I'm not quite sure if you're charging like that, you do have damage. I don't think so. He's compromised himself. He could still have it, of course, but a pit stop here is really painful.
He lost the backhand a little bit there, Radecki. So has gone for the move. He dive bombed his opponent, and that made him not only win the place, but not only that he did not win the place, but he also lost a lot of time to Hannes, who is now close.
Yeah, the Austrian's coming to come join this party as well. So, and then Van der Bos is just down the road there. So that's your battle at the moment for this midfield, essentially. You still have Alex leading the race from Aloy, Garbarino. So they're up the road, and once again, it looks like Alex is starting to pull that gap that Alex does best. He's won one and change down the road. We're not sure. I'm not sure of the DRS activation points around here, guys, because I've barely even seen it so much. I think the DRS is open there. So that's 1 point.
No, it's only one DRS zone. It's between
that's it there. Short straight then, yeah.
Yeah, it's only between turns 11 and 13. So you
Final
go
corner
with DRS.
to start lap 4
Oh, no,
now.
we have 2 DRS zones.
Oh, there it is. Main straight. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, my bad, because.
That's right. I didn't know either, my friend. And it looks like somebody's coming. It looks like a pit lane entrance is actually exited the pit lane. There's another challenge on the road there. Is that Radecki? Yeah, he got him. Did he get back? Yes, he did. He got Paul roll.
Yep.
So he's been sizing that move up. So I don't know. Maybe you don't know damage there. We are maybe on the assumption a little bit of contact there, because if you start to make some places back like that, then it goes to show you pretty good. Do we have any replays at all from that to the race director? No, nothing from the race director, of course, because I guess the game didn't highlight if it was a significant accident or not. But look at this. Hence, now looking at the pressure there on the Portuguese driver. I believe it is Paulo.
The battle between brothers, the 2 Iberia teammates, Junso Vale and Eloy Caballero. Well, they are not brothers in real life, but obviously they are teammates. DRS now. Junso is close, but not close enough to try and move there in turn 13.
What do you do?
Radecki is up on our place.
I mean, Eloy has gained 3 positions from the start of the race, and obviously he's keeping his teammate at bay. So I don't think there's going to be a switcheroo between them, because, I mean, especially if Eloy has made such a great gain. But if they are starting to drop Alex, perhaps, and if one, I call him Wanko, sorry, but if one is a little bit quicker, maybe it's better to release him and don't let Alex get up the road. We know what happens when Alex gets up the road, but then again, Alex unfortunately, has made mistakes before in the past and lost places. But he does it on himself, not because he's battling with anybody generally, because Mark's not here. And that when those two guys are going at it. Sorry.
Obviously, Eloy started in 5th place, and now he's in 2nd place. We obviously don't have a team manager to say, okay, you're faster, you overtake, you go and chase Alex. And Eloy, after winning 3 places at the start, he wants that podium, he wants that 2nd place, and I don't think he will just leave his team and go through.
Multi-23. We all know the multi-21. That was just 2-1. In this case, it's 2-3. Or could be multi-3-2. Anyway, who knows if they're even communicating in a VC together? Because they might be in the same car livery. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're... Because there's no actual Constructors' Championships. It's just drivers.
Yeah, I was never actually driving with someone in my voice chat because it got me so deconcentrated. And I couldn't concentrate while being in the voice chat with someone.
Somebody's gone straight. Yeah.
Victor Bolea cut the chicane. He cut the chicane.
And Victor's gained so many places as well. I think he's dropped back to P8 now, but he gained 5 places. Victor had the launch of all launches in this race. And unfortunately, just didn't hit the brake pedal that one. The brake pedal did not stop that car in time. Still in it, of course, to win. We're on lap 6. And this is getting a little bit of a DRS train right here, isn't it? From P5 down to P9, I believe.
So this train starts with Radechki in 5th place and ends with Alaric van den Bos in 9th with that yellow car. The yellow car reminds me of Corvette, if you guys know it from GP3, the Le Mans. I think it would be so interesting to see a Corvette car in Formula 1.
No, mate, I mean, okay. You did, because you weren't, for me, you said you didn't watch a lot of the earlier F1s. The Eddie Jordan team, they used to use the yellow livery.
Yeah, I know it.
But that's because it was all cigarette advertising as well, too. So I think it was one of the cigarette brands, of course. Thankfully, no cigarette advertising anymore because we only vape now. Hopefully, non-tobacco vape. Also, vaping coming out on the spotlight as well, too, recently. Some danger effects. Who knows? Anyway, I'm not a doctor. But anyway, at least we're not smoking. That's the main thing.
I think that McLaren now has a cigarette sponsor. Vuse? I don't know.
Oh, you mean vape sponsor?
Yeah.
They're not allowed cigarettes and alcohol. Well, alcohol has been banned as well, so that's why you don't see Johnny Walker and all that advertising anymore.
Yeah, but it's been pretty recent.
Or Heineken. Heineken don't sponsor anymore? The Heineken was sponsoring a 0% alcohol drink. That's the reason why they got away with that one. Oh, it goes wide. I remember in certain tracks around the world, they banned cigarette and alcohol advertising. Like in Australia, for example, was one of them.
Also Bahrain, I'm wrong.
Yeah. And so if Formula One had to do something about it, we had to start changing it all over. Otherwise, you couldn't have certain tracks and things like that. Anyway, but now we have Bitcoin and all those other things. It's just as bad. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Ferrari, I think, also had a cigarette sponsor or a vape sponsor.
They had them, yeah, Marlboro or something like that, and they used to use, they tricked the colours. They got in trouble for it too, I think. Yeah, I don't know how that works, but anyway.
Because I remember,
go ahead.
I remember they got the Mission Win Now sponsor on their unveiling car, and then they have used it, I think, once or twice in the entire season. As we're seeing a move, or at least a try, from Paulo Lopez on Hannes Schlogel for 7th place, and this just takes us to what we were talking at the start of our stream. It's very hard to overtake here at Hockenheim.
Look at the background there, but it looks like Victor's going to try to get this one back again. Remember, he made a little bit of an error. We know Victor's got the pace around here because he's gained so many positions. Has he got down?
And he touches contact, and we've had 3 cars involved. We might get a safety car.
Oh, he's come back on the track there. I'm not quite sure about carbon fiber. They might be back in there. That's going to be one for the race control. Here we go. Replay. Who wants to see that? Of course we can. It's iRacing.
So Paulo Lopez tried to go from chased to chaser and to overtake Hannes Schlogel. We were just talking at the start of the race because it's so easy to go mistake in turn 1.
He's lucky he was just off the racing line. Otherwise, that would have turned into a massive pileup. I mean, we can see that replay again and again, of course. We can look at it from different perspective as well, too, because I'd like to see how it would look like from the green car behind and see what happened there as you see the two battling out. There's a great, and that's just a classic 101 tap. Oh, both of them managed to avoid hitting the side pod. Good response there from the drivers, unfortunately. The Austrian. The green, I'm not sure who the green car was, actually. Does anybody remember? I mean, because they've dropped a couple. Maybe, was it Brody? I mean, sorry, we're getting used to the liveries.
No, it was a Spanish driver. It was Victor Bolea.
Victor, there you go. So let's have a look at it from Victor's point of view in a second. No doubt. There it is, Victor right now. So if we can get on board, whatever Victor, perhaps even was cameraing, here it is, and you can see it from Victor's perspective. So Victor's backed out of this one, said, okay, you guys go for it. There's just a, did it look like contact?
No, I think it was network. It was network crash.
Because yeah.
I remember that Radecki had this issue in a lot of races, you know. He also got a penalty. He said it was network connection. I remember the Formula 1 games had these problems around 2015 and 2014, you know, when you were not crashing with your opponent, but
yeah, no, it was. So yeah, it could be, but I just saw on because now I'm watching it in 4K, beautiful 4K resolution on the YouTube stream because it's even a little delayed for me. I get to watch it back again, and it looked like the very front left end plate had just tapped the back of the wheel. Now that could be puncture territory, obviously. I don't think the game simulates it that much. But in the real F1, you know, that little bit of carbon fiber slicing into the tire would generally result in a flat tire on the rear of that car ahead, but we don't see that too much in iRacing, which is good. W12. Meanwhile, what's happening at the front? Well, Alex has gone away with it again down the road. And we're seeing an overtake here.
Move. Steve Grabowski on the outside. He made it work on the outside of the chicane.
That's tricky into the penultimate couple of corners as well.
That's not easy.
Yeah. Well, they're just writing up the rule book right now of how you can actually do an overtake in an overtaking place that has never been done before. So Guinness are here to write one in the Guinness Book of Records from that one.
Brody Maynard down in 10th place. We were talking about him as our superstar. I think, did he boxed? Was he to the pit lane? Or
is he... Hans is out. Hans is actually out there. The Austrian driver, I believe, is out of this race. I'm seeing. Was he out on track? No, he boxed. So we have two drivers at the moment that are pitted. That's Mark and Hans. I'm pulling a bit slack there, so I'm getting some messages from race control as well, too, about incidents being investigated and so forth. If you want to read that one there for me, Ed?
Yeah, there's a 5 seconds time penalty for car number 88. I think that's Paulo Lopez.
It is Paulo, yep, unfortunately. Let's have a look at the replay of what's happened to Hans. It was out, I saw him out, and that means he was out on the track somewhere, not where in the track limits. Where is it around these S's? Just the rear end slips out there. Does he keep it out of the fence? Yes, he does. Good job, good save. That's just the rear end, just hitting the chicanes a little bit, and there's another one.
Brody gone wide. Yeah, it's sad for Hannes Schlogger because he has done an okay race, but when he got into that crash, you know, obviously he lost concentration, and since then, when it rains, it pours, and he's proving that.
We will see rain next season in the iRacing, but in the W12s, we won't see it this season. Van der Bos has gone into the pit lane as well, so some of the drivers are starting to get rid of those tyres as we get close to the halfway point of the race. Mandatory pit stops are required. Another thing as well, I'd have to say that, I think Brody might be a little bit exhausted after his 500 Daytona 500 race. That's the reason why he's made a little bit of a mistake like that, because, you know, he's had to do a lot of work there to get that one. I'm sure he'd be sweating. His arms are probably still sore from that race. No doubt, but hey, he's still in it at the moment. It's just seeing Paulo, who has that 5-second penalty, sorry. That'll be slapped on to the end of that race, but at the moment, he's not going to worry about that. Put his head down so he can get it on Victor.
Radecki got up back in 4th place, so he from what it was looking like a bad race, he's saving something as Paulo Lopez was looking at inside of Victor. But again, it's hard overtaking the chicane in the NGK chicane, or how it's written here, the NGK chicane. Hopefully the German viewers.
Thank God we have Ed in here to do the pronunciations because it does it right on. It's still going to go out at 2 for now. I think you need to try and overtake her where it was impossible before that we saw. That's probably the place you need to get it done. That's where people go, what? What? Hey, how could you get past me there? That's what's happened.
Oh, it's wide. Paulo Lopez is a little bit wide there.
Oh,
and
worst place to get wide too because you got to come back onto the racing line through the S's. This is the worst place because then you lose a lot of speed out of there. Just keep an eye, obviously, on Steve, I think, in the background there as well. It should get some good exit speed.
Yeah, not only that, but if you go wide in turn 1 or 2, then you also ruin turns 3 and 4. And then you ruin all your run to turn 5. So you lose so much time there.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I was referring to. It's like you know, entering to Becker's chat buds and maggots. You get a horrible entry into there. The rest of those corners are done, and then you get killed down that Wellington Straight or something like that, I think it is. But so yeah, that's the... And it happens in a lot of these tracks that have these S's, you know, series of S's. And remember, this is a classic track. This has them built in. All the modern Formula 1 car tracks are trying to add their own artificial version of it because it always produces great entertainment. And once again, you make a little mistake into one of them, it spoils the 3rd or 4th turns out of it. Lose a lot of time.
The Bahrain oval track that we have only used last year, well, not last year, actually in 2020, yeah. That has also a section in the north side of the road. I'm not really sure how it's called, but when you go wide in turn 4, then you also ruin turns 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And you just ruin your whole lap if you run a little bit wide.
And I like that, don't you? Tracks should have that because it's the drivers that they're aware, and it brings mistakes and also brings racing and entertainment, of course, because we can't just become... We have a crash coming up, I believe it's happened. And let's check this one out from our race director.
Third one again. I think he's just lost the back end there.
Yeah. So that's the same spot as last time? He's gone. Oh, donuts as well.
Donut there.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure if the team are going to be too happy about him burning through those tyres just yet. You can do it a little later on, mate. Maybe the end of the race, but let's have a look from the Brit driver.
The Aston Martin driver.
Aston Martin, yeah, of course. He's like trying to He has James Bond that right now. So there it is. 00 Mark Johnson in the 56 car, I believe it is. So he's agent number 56. But meanwhile, they're at it again. Here's the other green car versus the obviously the Portuguese flag car there, Apollo.
Paulo Lopez finally got the job done as Alex Seguia gone through the pit lane and got out in 4th place, so he's behind Radeczki Gregor.
Alex. Yes. That's right. Alex made a pit stop in that time that we're watching.
He's coming back. He's coming back. Victor Volea was trying to get a move back, but Paulo Lopez also broke very late, and Victor had no chance. But now with the comeback, down inside through turn 3, he will have the outside in turn 4, but he might get the switch back there.
He's like the exit speed. Yeah. He did take the racing line, but I tell you what, right now, Paulo's going to be still fighting for this one too. For now, he's like, I don't care. You've won the championship, my friend, but I'm still in track position. Even if you come out of pit lane, I'm not giving it up. I'm not going to yield. I'm going to hold you up as long as I possibly can. Because, hey, if we're racing next season, it could be game on between you and me. I like it. Alex is also playing it. Alex has got it, hasn't he? Sorry, which battle I'm watching here. Yep. No, I'm watching Victor and Paulo. Sorry, my mistake.
Yeah, Paulo Lopez stayed behind Victor for a lot of laps, about 4 or 5 laps, and now he finally got the job done. Victor Volea tried to get the place back, but yeah, no for him. As we're now watching Troy Banks battling out with Brody Maynard for 10th place.
Brody coming back after that little mistake before. See what he can do at the moment there on the American. Is that, I believe, no, Brody is the American, and it looks like Vanderboss. I'm sure Vanderboss is not. Anyway, it is Troy Banks. Jeez, I'm absolutely over the place, so apologies, guys.
Vanderboss is Dutch, 100%.
Yeah, I've got to say, there's no way. But it could be. He could be living in the country, of course. And here we go.
Oh, and here we go again. Oh, so close there to contact. They're going wheel to wheel, inches between these two drivers. They're still going side by side. Victor Bolet there tried to get a switch back, but there was no way because he was so wide that he couldn't cut in and get inside of the corner again. Paulo Lopez keeps 5th place.
Can we go on board right now? I'd like to see from Victor's perspective there is just chasing the car down as you're in a W12. Trying to hold of it. You can see the medium tires. I didn't realize how much of an elevation this track has. Banking keeps it out of the sand. Banks a little bit here back to the left. Great high speed. Approaching those apex. You want to hug those apexes like your favorite grandma. That'll give you good entry and exit speed. Look at that. But it looks like Paulo's just way up the road, but it's not that far. It's absolutely not that far. It's 1 second, barely 1 second.
Is he going to get the DRS because he was just there in the 1 second margin? I don't think so because the gap is increasing between these two.
You're right. Yeah, it's true. Spots the 50. These are lies bouncing over there. It's hard. Maybe he's realizing we're actually going on board with him. That was scary moment, and I love that. It's almost like a Spain, isn't it? When you go around that final couple of corners on that. That was tricky. Those chicanes are brutal if you hit them too hard.
Troy Banks is driving for the Georgia team.
Yeah, Georgia's a state in the US, man. Come on. That's deep south right there.
I also think that Georgia is a country, isn't it?
It is a country as well, too, but it's a state, Georgia, and I'm Troy Banks going to get this car right around the outside here. Let's go racing here. And it ain't NASCAR, ladies and gentlemen. It's Formula One here, and it ain't Stall Racing, W12 series. There you go. Sorry. My really bad American accent. No pun intended there, Troy. We're just having fun, mate.
Yeah.
No, good on you, Troy. I mean, geez, mate, it's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon for me. It's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon for you, too. I think. Well, Georgia? Yeah, similar. You might be right. 3:30 or 4. Daylight savings occurring, too. Damn it.
It's 2 p.m.
Yeah, there you go. So he's an hour. Yeah, I'm about an hour behind you. There you go.
Here in Romania, it's about 10 p.m., so I'm half asleep.
That's okay, mate. That's the reason why I love living in the Americans' time zone, because if I was in Australia right now, it would be probably whatever ridiculous time in the morning. So, yeah. It's not a good job to cast races in Europe and the Americas if you live in Australia. 8 a.m. Yeah, I'm not getting up at 8 a.m. to cast a race, so there it is. That's why I like being here in the Americas. Anyway, let's see. Troy Banks is liking to see you get past Brody up the road there. Hey, if you get past Brody, my friend, you got the IndyCar 500 winner. And that's something to... NASCAR, sorry. Daytona winner. Love that. Do you love that little bragging rights later on? Let's go at the moment. And Eloy is leading this race. Now, how far could he stretch this one? You said the pit stop was what, Mr. Race Director? Sorry, I didn't have those notes with me. 23, is it? Oh, how did I get... 23 is the average of a Formula 1 pit stop. Sorry. Oh, Alex got 1 second early, so his team's good. So let's have a look at Eloy. How far down the road is he currently from Alex? That's the key.
Lane.
We're going to find out right now then, won't we? Where's Alex on the track? Alex currently is around the final corner down the main straight. So Alex has cleared this one easy pickings, I'd have to say. But
if Alex Seguia will not be able to get past Raducci, I'm sure that Raducci will slow Alex down. So there is still a chance, but the gap is going to be big.
Yep, he's coming out of the pit lane right now. Eloy's going to come out ahead of the 88 car of Paulo. That's good. But now Paulo's been in the walls this evening here quite a lot.
8 seconds.
Yeah, Radicki, who's third in the championship at the moment and probably trying to get as many points as possible so he can get past Mark Stevens. Unfortunately, he's not here. So, yeah, hey, got to be in it to win it. So, maximize your potential of points there. But he still has to box. These two drivers at the head there still have to pit. We know 23 seconds.
Yeah, but...
So the battle... Yep, go ahead.
9 seconds between Alex and Eloy. It's... From my point of view, Eloy will not be able to come back. It's a gap that is too big. And especially when we are racing against Alex Seguia, who is very consistent, very fast. He doesn't do many mistakes. Obviously he's done that in the past when he was under pressure. But when he's in first place and when he builds that gap, he's uncatchable.
I agree to disagree with this, as one is in the pit lane right now from leading this race, so they're going to be dropping behind Mr. Alex we're talking about. But the thing is with Alex, I think Alex is pushing himself more. Alex is going, I'm going to go faster and faster and faster and faster and faster. We've seen it before on real F1 drivers. The teams actually say, slow down, you got this race, right? What do the drivers do? They don't slow down, they spin, and they have or they crash. And I wouldn't want to be in that debriefing room after, of course, once the team principal's telling you to slow down. But they don't listen. They're drivers, man. They're like children. Sorry. Tell them one thing, they do the opposite.
Yeah, but when you are racing and you're doing lap after lap, you get in a zone, and when someone is telling you to go slower, it's much easier to get out of your zone and get it concentrated rather than just pushing all the time. I think
you're right. It's got traffic up ahead too, and that will be Radicki. So that might affect him a little bit because there's going to be no racing line here, no cheating like here's in the F1 game. You're on your own here, and you're following a car up ahead. And we see what happens when you follow a car up ahead. You tend to follow their racing lines. You tend to follow their braking points. And it's not braking on point. So that can throw you off. That's why you see synchronized accidents in Formula One. Somebody goes off, somebody also runs off wide because they're following the car ahead. So you're going to be focusing on your racing line. That's difficult to do. Seems easy up here in the air-conditioned commentating box, but when you're down there and sweating it out in the car, as you've been sweating it out for almost 20 laps, that's not easy peasies, easy pickings.
Lap 20 out of 24. Alex Iguia 126.8. Radicki Gregor 127.5. So Alex Iguia is 7/10 faster than his opponent. I'm curious, what is Eloy's time? 126.8. So he's not recovering much to Alex. This is not enough.
Yeah, Radicki's going to start losing some time here because his battle, remember that Radicki is battling it out with Eloy and won.
Yeah, Radicki haven't been through the pit lane, and if you'll not box, he will get disqualified. But I think
what's the time? But what's the time? I want to see that. What is the gap to him? Oh no, he's lost a big time because it's 23-second pit stop.
No, when he will box, he will be in 4th place. So
no, he won't.
He will. That's 25 seconds to mark.
But I thought the gap to one is 9 seconds. Yeah, you're right. He'll be in 4th. So Mark's too far down the road. Mark's 26. We gotta be very careful, but if Mark can pull a few more banker laps, no, he can't actually. So it's going to be in a bit of trouble there. But you know what you should tell the drivers then, if you're a chief engineer, go faster, because they do the opposite of what you say. It works, right? It's like, but if you ride on a wall, do not graffiti.
Alex Iguia is on the inside because Alex Iguia is on the inside. They're going side by side. They touched! They touched, and Radicki will have the inside going to turn 2. And Radicki Gregor just keeps the position. Lap 21 out of 24. And Alex Iguia goes a little bit wide. I think he lost some concentration, but Alex Iguia is still close. He has the newer tires. He's on a fresh set of mediums. Meanwhile, Radicki is on all softs.
Yeah, Alex backed out of that one. He realized, all right, I didn't realize we are racing here, my friend. You have to make a pit stop. And I think Alex does not...
We'll go down this side. He's charging, but he just backs out.
He has back off at the moment because he doesn't want to risk this at the moment. He doesn't want to risk getting around here. With Radicki, he's like, Radicki, what are you doing, mate? You have to make a pit stop soon. But Radicki's like, I know, but I'm just having some fun, my friend, with you. So that's what it is. And Alex is a little bit too clever for that one. You don't win a championship by making crazy mistakes like that. Although we have seen him and Mark go for a tooth and nail. And you know what I love? That those guys at the end of a race have smiles on their faces. And they love the racing. But I'm not quite sure if Alex is going to be too happy about this right now. For Radicki holding him up as much as possible. Although Alex has nothing to lose. He's got a massive gap.
Jung Soval is very close to Eli. So the two teammates are battling out for 3rd place as well. As Alex Iguia now has DRS, will he go on the inside or on the outside of turn 1? He moves to the right, so he will go on the inside.
This is dangerous again! It's a carbon copy! It's a carbon copy! Yeah, if I was Alex right now, I would just lift off and not even bother about it now. You are potentially risking getting spun and losing this race because Radisky has to box. He has to box soon. So, well, what about this other battle you mentioned behind? That's the interesting one.
We know Alex. He wants to win this race.
He's going to win it anyway, mate, because the other driver's going to be disqualified anyway. So, I mean, if Radisky doesn't box. But I think Alex right now can't afford to go around. What about the teammates? This is the key, isn't it? Eloy has gained 2 positions. His teammates lost 2 from the start. But you wonder if one...
Very close. Alex Eguia is very close. 0.2 between them. And Alex will have DRS again.
Yeah, but he's got to make the maneuver there at the moment. And you know Radisky's
He's
not
close.
yielding.
He's closer than ever. And with DRS and Slipstream, this move should be easy. He's charging. And on his side of the chicane, he's easy done.
No, it's not.
So close. Radisky keeps it, but he's speeding.
Wow, that could have gone all the wrong way. I tell you what, hats off to you, Radisky, for making some great entertainment there. It'll be interesting to hear what Alex's version of that one. Yes, let's go back to the other battle between the teammates. Further back, P3, P4. Well, P2, P3 now.
Oh, very close. There's no violence. It breaks so late.
Oh, it's disappeared and reappeared, thankfully. It's not Cody's. It's iRacing. They fix that a lot quicker and better. But yeah, teammates. Are they teammates? I'm not quite sure. I don't think so. It's elbows out. Maybe now. Penultimate lap. This is it. This is the battle for P2. I have to say, Eloy's done a fantastic job gaining 3 positions. You said so, didn't you, at the start of this, Ed? He wants a podium and he wants it bad.
Yeah, and Eli has got a great start. An absolute stunning one. He's gone from 5th to 2nd in the first section of corners.
Also, Victor's putting better pressure there on Vanderboss. You might want to squeeze down to that one real quick. They're 7th and 8th, actually, between those 2 drivers. Victor's coming back here. Big time. Could be looking for an overtake. Here it is. It's close. Green and gold. It's not Australia. Oh, it's super close. Victor wants this one. And Vanderboss says, none of my watch. We're going to find out. This is it. We're on the penultimate lap, of course. I don't think anything is going to happen down the road there. We know Alex has got this one in the bag. Final lap now, but this is where it could happen.
Eloy Caballero has set the fastest lap of the race in lap 23.
Yeah, he pulled the 1 second gap as well.
He was feeling the pressure from behind, and that made him go faster. As Victor Bolea moves to the right, gets the inside in turn 12, and that's it. His job done. I think that Alaric has got a little bit scared there because he has just backed out completely. And
he started the same position in that P8, and it's actually, believe it or not, P7. Victor's gained 6 positions, but we're going to probably focus on Alex once again. He's done this one. Eloy, we'll have to see, probably might be my driver of the day. I'm not quite sure. What do you think, guys? Think for your driver of the day? It's just a whole lot of one cobot.
On his side.
Yeah.
He tried to move, but it's hard when you're that far back.
Alex is sector 2, but one is now... Oh, this battle's still resuming, but that's it. There's 2 battles on track at the moment for P7, P8, and between the teammates, P2, P3. But this is...
Junso is still close. So Vale still has a chance to get that place.
Alex is about to win the race. Alex has won the race again. Another one on his belt there. Hey, he set the fastest lap just to add injury to insult. What's happening to the rest of the field here? Who can get it? I think Eloy's got that P2 there. Juan has got that P3, but who's going to get this? Essentially 7th and 8th. We're forgetting about Radesky that did a pretty good job at P4. That is a long way down the road, but between these 2 guys, I think that's probably it. I don't think there's enough time to come back unless you send the last of the last dive bombs, and, well, at that point, you're going to be talking to the stewards.
Radecki finished 4th, Mark Johnson 5th, Steve Grabowski finishes 6th with 9 off tracks. Alaric had 13 off tracks.
Stevie, man, who's a little, he grabbed that one, actually. Grabbed Grabowski. Fantastic job.
And this has been it for our race.
I always say a quiet race is a good race sometimes when you're not in the wars with everybody. You just bring the car home.
Yeah, this race has been so calm here in Nürburgring.
Yeah, until the end. Until the end, wasn't it? It didn't get calm there. I was starting to sweat.
Paulo done in 12th place. I wonder what happened to him because he was battling out for 5th, 6th, 7th. He was alongside Alari Van Boss at one point.
Yeah, exactly. He was right in the wars, the 88 car, and now is essentially last place. Must have made an error somewhere. There's your results. If you'd like to go through those for us there, please, Ed.
Alex Seguya, winner here at Nürburgring for our 11th race. Eloy Caballero second, and Junxo Vale completes an all-Spanish podium. Radziecki Gregorz fourth, Mark Johnston fifth, Steve Grabowski in sixth place for the United States of America. Victor Bollea seventh, Alaric Van den Bos in eighth place. Brody Maynard, our superstar, our Daytona winner in ninth place, and Hannes Logel 10th, Troy Banks 11th, Paulo Lopez in 12th place, and Lee Balmore have not started race actually.
Vamos, España, exactly. And Alex, well, we're getting for an interview. I want to hear a smooth operator, because that was smooth. That was very, very smooth. We're going to have Alex in here right now. Alex, do it. Carlos says it a lot. You won another race. You got to say it.
Operator.
Yes! Woo! Well, mate, you are the champion, and adding another one to the bag there. So 180 points wasn't enough for you. How was that race?
Yeah, it was boring, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't expect to have such gap on qualifying. Almost a full second to P2, and the race was just making the laps, managing the gap behind, and seeing if Eloy and Juancho, which is I think a full Spanish podium. So that's
it wasn't a Español. That's what I said. Vamos for España. Good job. Yeah, and to tell you what, Radziecki really brought it to you towards the end there, and you were challenging. As like, I mean, you had everything to lose. He had everything to gain. Well, essentially, how was that? Did you expect that towards the end?
No, I didn't expect that. To be honest, I don't know. Maybe he was playing games, but I had the telemetry here, and I knew that he didn't stop and had to stop in the final lap or the lap before. So it was just staying calm, watching the relative to not lose so much time. And also not lose battery to do the fastest lap at the end. So I don't know, maybe he was pushing me to drain the battery or something.
We forgot completely you did set the fastest lap at the end. You've done this before too, adding salt into the injuries, of course. Because, and by the way, what a launch of that race start. We knew that the turn one was going to be a lot of, problems for some people or not. You just sent that car off. I saw you like smoke it up on the line there as well too. So you launched that gas pedal and you got there. How much wheel spin did you have when you took off?
Was let me see, but I think I didn't have that much. With the double clutch is easier to start. Yeah, I think it like half a meter or so of smoke the rear tires. And then turn one, I was convinced maybe a launch or something. So I went on the outside, to avoid any carnage. It's a typical strategy in iRacing. If you got the pole, and then go straight in turn one. And yeah, from then on was managing tires. I was surprised that nobody came into the pits to do the undercut. It was quite late. All the pit stops. So yeah, that was the race.
And you boxed twice, if I'm not mistaken.
No. I boxed on lap for 14.
Okay, sorry, my telemetry
13,
said that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the last lap, after the last lap, I boxed again to park the car. Maybe that's counting as another box.
That's what that comes up on that one. Yeah, exactly. So, Alex, mate, we have had Spaniards win races before, obviously in championships. Fernando Alonso, of course, has done it. Well, Fernando Alonso obviously should have retired in Formula One and replaced himself with you, Alex, because I think you are the other you, obviously. Carlos is potentially, a future Spaniard to perhaps win the title, but maybe they need an Alex the car.
He'll win eventually. But yeah, there are a lot of drivers like Mark. I miss him a lot on track. Luca as well. He won every race he participated virtually, because in Austria he got smashed on the last lap, in the last turn of the last lap. So yeah, I think there are a lot of drivers that could make the jump from iRacing or sim racing to real racing. That'd be awesome to see.
And congratulations again. I mean, another race win. We were talking about that before. I think Ed and I were like, Alex has already wrapped the championship. Does he need to really push it? And I said, well, yes, because Alex is a champion, and champions always want to go quicker and quicker and quicker. And we were kind of, I mean, even that, that's what I said, I was talking in the stream. Team principals generally say, slow down, don't go for it. You won the race. But you're like, no, I won it. I'm going to get past one way or along the other. And Radisky could have you guys had contact a few times too on those laps. Could have easily sent you around the wrong direction and you could be like losing that race. But you said, no, I'm going for it. But then again, you backed off and then waited your time, didn't you?
Yeah, if I was to make a move, I wanted to be very, very clear and very clean, and not to risk any netcode. We know that it's bigger with this car. And yeah, try to avoid any nonsense and just finish the race, and hopefully we can win in Interlagos in the season finale.
Well, if I was a betting man, I'd probably put most of my odds and channel points and so, even though I don't want on YouTube, but I put channel points on there. Do you miss Mark? Do you miss racing Mark wheel to wheel? Because you guys were at it, weren't you, tooth and nail in this season? Mark unfortunately couldn't make it. I would have loved to see you and Mark go for it in the last lap.
Yeah, Mark, Luca, Radecki, everyone that competes, that you have to, I don't know, not relax in any moment on the race. Thinking about the strategy, thinking about if I had to launch this lap or maybe wait for the next lap or the next DRS zone. That's amazing to see. And yeah, at least I miss that.
And do you think, I'm sure you're aware, Brody had won the 500 in Daytona. If you slap yourself into, one of those NASCARs essentially, and then you went wheel to wheel with Brody, do you think you could be able to bring it to him? I mean, Brody's obviously a machine there. Have you ever gone, how do you go around the ovals and tracks like that? Because hey, if you can win races like this in a Formula 1 car, you're pretty good, right? Stock cars?
Yeah, as I say, I just race with open wheels. I don't like any how do you say it in English? Any steel around my neck. So
right, but fair enough.
Yeah.
But I mean, you got to think about the classic people that have done it before in the past. Like you've had Nigel Mansell, Fernando Alonso's done it. Do you think? I mean, is that something you could probably like give it a shot and see how quick you are? I'd be interested to see how quick you were.
For sure, give it a shot for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, Matt, you can go for that trifecta, isn't it? That race win when you win all three. You can go for that. Yeah. Right. Fernando's tried, got really close. You got to win what is it? The Indy 500, Le Mans 24, and the other one. The isn't the Monaco?
Monaco,
no.
yeah.
Monaco, yeah.
Monaco, yeah.
There you go, Alex. You've wrapped this one up, mate. Now you have a new target to be set,
which is winning the last lap,
winning all those three. I want you to get in there and get into an Indy car.
Well, we can do it, but which will be the Monaco Grand Prix on iRacing? Maybe Long Beach, maybe Detroit.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that could be decided. We could just substitute Monaco. Monaco's a go-kart track anyway, so it's not really shouldn't even be included. But
it's probably good time to mention the fact that Antisol Racing will be racing the Indy 500. So if you want to grab yourself a car with the Antisol Racing livery on it, then we will all be working together to try and win that Indy 500 again, as our glorious leader Kevin did last year. He won it. So
that's the bar is very high to to do the same.
Yeah, absolutely.
I hope that we have the best of you guys here in Any Store Racing, be a part of Any Store Racing, representing on track as well, because we're family. You stick together. And say it, Alex. Say it. Smooth what again?
Smooth operator.
Yes.
It'd be awesome on Interlagos if we win again. Then it will be maybe a long version of Smooth Operator. I have to find the tricks or something.
The full chorus. Is that what we're going to be looking forward to next week then? If you do win this, well, you wrapped up championship, but if you do win in Interlagos, anti-clockwise, Matt, how do you go around the anti-clockwise tracks?
Yeah, I think it's the same. I think it will be very tricky with this car because you have to have the brake bias to match rearwards, and yeah, it would be tricky, but it will be fun as always.
And I'll be sitting in my palm tree on turn 11, the lone pine, I think it's called, and that's where I'll be sitting. And there's also a duck's corner, which is in I think in Portuguese. We do have some Portuguese drivers in here as well too. Unfortunately, I think it was Paulo that finished almost in last place. He could tell me about the duck's corner, which is basically the beginner's corner where everybody loses it. That's right up the top of the hill, of course, into Lagos.
Also, don't forget the caipirinha.
Okay, what?
The caipirinha, it's a classical drink.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, sorry, I can never pronounce it correctly like you just pronounced it exactly. I call it something else.
Portuguese and Spanish are very similar, so...
Yeah, you're right. Exactly. Good call. And I thought Ed was good in languages. Yep, we're going to be wrapping it up. Ed, any questions there for Alex that's once again sitting on top of the step? I think Alex is 200 plus points now. He's Schumachered or Hamilton his way into this championship.
Alex, you still have one race left in the championship. If you will take part in it, my first question is, will you also take part in that race?
I think yes. If unless anything comes, which is very important to miss the last race, but yes, I will be there.
How will you approach it? Thinking that you already won the championship, you already proved anything that there was to prove in the championship. What is going to be your approach?
I think the same as this and the race before. Do my best. Grab a quick setup again and try to make it my own. And drive my best and hopefully fight on track with a couple of drivers.
Thank you, Alex. I have one quick question for you. It's not a serious question, and I've never asked you this before, but this is very important. What inspired you to get into to Formula One?
Well, I think I always love to see Formula One with my dad on the TV, and I think the first game I had was about Formula One. I mean the racing game, and then I grew up with F1 on PC, then F1 2010, 2011, which are the Codemaster ones on PlayStation. And when I came to iRacing, I saw the Formula One. I think I started with the Williams, then we had the McLaren again, and this season with the Mercedes. So yeah, I'm sticking with it. I love it. I love the different compounds. We have no refueling now, but I love it as well as it's racing and also being an engineer with the strategy, how much fuel, which compound do you have to wear, and yeah, I love it.
You love it, and I love that as you mentioned that because I used to watch Formula One with my dad on television. Did your dad know how good you are in a racing in Formula One and a racing? Is he aware of it?
I showed him a couple of streams, and for example, for my birthday, I asked for a couple of gloves, and he knows that I'm into this, but he's not like a fan, like watching me and supporting me. Yes, but not watching and being active.
Well, he should be a very proud father. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry, go Ed.
Alex, I think for a birthday you should get a poster of you singing Smooth Operator, like that one you sent on our group.
Maybe we could organize that in anti-stall racing to go to you as I don't know, as some sort of reward. But yeah, we love our dads. Our dads are the ones that generally get us into this. Your dad was the one that helped you get into this, and then you're going to continue with it. And he should be very proud of his son because we are watching you, Alex, and you are a machine on track. Congratulations once again.
Thank you so much. That's most kind words. Thank you.
Well, guys, I think this has been it for our 11th and second last round of our season. Thank you for everyone who have watched the race and for everyone who has supported us. Don't forget to join our Discord if you want more information about our leagues. And we will see each other again next week with the last race of the W12 series. Until then, take care and we'll see you guys next time.